Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself. We've been on hiatus for like what seems to be, I don't know, 10, 15 years. We haven't been back. I've been sick.
You
You
know
can
what?
probably hear it in my voice. Matt's been busy. We've all been busy. But hey, we're back now.
We're gonna call it our what is this episode 40, 41, something like
40.
that.
It's the big 40.
40,
Dude, we're over the hill.
the big 40. Yeah. See, we had a midlife crisis. Is what.
That's what you say. Yes, we had a midlife crisis. The only thing is, that's probably not far from the truth with me. Like, I mean, I think I've had like a couple midlife crises, and I'm only 33.
Well, every time I talk to Keith, he's either in the hospital,
Yep, yep,
taking his kids to the hospital,
yep.
he's coming from the ER, or he's going to the ER.
Yes,
So,
yes. It's weird.
I don't know, like the carcinogens of. I know you're. So Keith is currently, if you're listening to this later on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, Keith has been currently. This is what day 11 of you not smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Okay, so day 11.
That's why I'm
So,
cranky.
well, so he's not as cranky because he's been vaping and still dipping. So, but here's the thing.
You
So
make me laugh.
this is
We promote healthy lungs in this on the show.
yeah. Well, here's what's weird. So normally I talk to Keith and get a lot of sorry. And for the last week, that hasn't happened but maybe two times.
Right, it's
And
because
like when you're, I've mentioned this before, but like a computer lab class or something, when you're typing, they say they see how many words per minute you can type. Well, they do the same thing, for like auctioneers and stuff. You got to be able to talk and talk fast and sell and sell and
Right.
sell. Keith could never do that, even though he's a good podcast host, was a good radio host before. He would be horrendous at being an auctioneer because there would be a bid for probably, let's say it was $100,000.
oh, I'd be
There would
done.
be a $400,000 level that was raised to. They'd have no idea because he said,
I'd pass out before I start coughing. I look like one of those people that had smoke inhalation. I would literally pass out before I got to, I don't know, you said 100,000? I'd pass out before I got to 115.
well, let's just hope it's increments of 100,000.
Yeah, as long as it's increments of 100,000, we should be okay.
Yes. Well, anyways, we've had a lot that's gone on in the world since we're last on.
We have.
Since then, just very quickly, high level, UFOs have been released. Logan Paul says that he beat Mayweather. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
What else happened? I went to an Indians game. That was fun.
Yep.
Um,
Thanks for the invite.
and well, I was invited myself, so that didn't really work that
I
way.
invited myself.
I was invited, so I couldn't add on to their.
Understandable. I was
But
coughing.
anyways, so that's all been happening, and I know we didn't get a chance to discuss it, so that's kind of disappointing. But
It is.
you and I would discuss it off air. But something
Yeah.
that came out today, which is pretty cool. Go check it out on my Twitter. I retweeted it. I'm sure Keith posted it as well. It'll probably be on Facebook too there. So Keith and I are doing a project
Yes.
at the end of this July, going into August here, and we are shooting a, TV show called Unmortal. And this is something we've talked about a little bit, but it's getting close to happening. And
Yeah.
so our friend Walt Whitten has been putting this together with Al Snow as the main guy in this show. So I'm pretty excited. How'd you explain the show? It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic kind of
Fantasy.
How would you say it?
So it's more like, I mean, it's like a fantasy. You're living in like a Dungeons and Dragons type world. It's like it's like a video game. Honestly, it's really cool.
It feels like a video game. It's cool though.
No, it is. And the thing is, we're gonna get to star with, we're gonna get to co-star with, like you said, Al Snow, which is super awesome because I mean, when I was younger, big wrestling fan, loved to watch it. But then also we're gonna be starring with John Wells, who's been in Star Wars and been in a lot of other stuff, and he's gonna be doing a podcast with us at some point in time. I'm not sure if we're starting it this Sunday or next Sunday, but either way, we're gonna be doing some cool stuff. But I get to dress up as a knight, and I get to wield a sword. That's why I'm growing the beard out. He told me I couldn't shave for 2 months, so I mean it's getting pretty hectic
Yes.
over here.
I too have not shaven for 2 months.
I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just not. But that's okay. You know what we're gonna have to get special. You're gonna have to look like we're gonna have to get Al so we can get some hair growing on you.
Well, so here's the good thing is that, they always say when you're little, like, well, this will put some hair on your chest. I think you're like 4 now. So it's progressing. I don't know why, but it's
It's
progressing.
poor guy. It's all right, man. You'll be able to grow hair one day. Don't worry about it.
This is what happens when you have a brain tumor and messes up your entire endocrine system.
See, now how the hell am I supposed to joke about that, Matt? That's not
It's
fair.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Anyways, talking about other people with parts of their brains missing. The title of the show today, Walgreens, the corner of happy and healthy. Well, apparently today it's the corner of happy and stealing. This is the most hilarious video I've seen.
Happy and
Keith, I don't
stealing?
know. Have you seen the video yet?
I have not.
Okay. While we're talking here, I want you to go on Twitter, and I want you to go to the trending section, and it's going to be a video on Twitter there
All right.
of a guy, and he's riding a bike in the middle of Walgreens.
He's riding a bike.
Yeah, and it's like Santa Claus, but with a trash bag. He takes everything down the aisle and puts it in there like he's gonna go give it out like Christmas and Santa Claus. But this is the weirdest thing, okay? So Walgreens, $11 billion company, whatever the heck they are, like they don't care about a couple $100, right?
Sure.
But what's so funny about this to me is there are a good 7, 8, 9 people watching this guy take the stuff, and they're just this is their face, Keith. This is their face.
I mean, would you try to stop somebody if they were riding a bike through Walgreens? I mean, at that point, I think I would just take a picture too.
I don't know what I would do, but it's funny though, because at the end he makes a beeline for, and then by a beeline, he's maybe going 2 miles an hour. It's like trying to, it's a slow stroll towards the end.
Sorry, I'm watching it.
And what's funny is he's going by. I don't know if it's a worker or somebody at the end. Nobody's trying to stop him.
That's a security guard.
I don't know if he almost falls or what, but he kind of swerves towards the guy, and the guy just goes like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
It was like it was the most danger he'd ever seen in his life, with this guy almost swerving about a foot towards him. And the Walgreens is 12 people.
The security guard is just looking at him. The security guard is watching him do it the whole time, and
Yes, I forgot. The security guard is sitting there like, "Oh, did you get your shaving cream?"
Yeah, but he didn't even really make an effort to stop him. He basically did. Yeah, he just tried to grab the bag, and it wasn't even like very forceful. He tried to grab the bag like he would give his grandma a hug. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, all right, I don't want to break anything.
Again, if you're if this is later on and you're watching this back or listening to this back, when he goes to get the bag,
Oh my god, that's funny.
the effort he makes is like like in football, the coach goes out and smacks the player on the butt and says, "Get on out there." It's like when a wide receiver comes back and he just dropped the pass and they have to go and punt the ball, and just that little tap, like, "Oh, I'm mad at you, but like we still have to do this together." It's like I just showed you're still on the team and I care about you, but the security guard, I kind of care. I don't care.
No, that's fun. It's just
That's the best way to describe the effort.
But like, all right. So let's take this a step further then, right? Let's dive into this just a minute. If this was all right, let's say that happens here, right? And we're both standing in Walgreens, and this particular event is taking place. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna try to stop the guy, or are both of us gonna try to get different angles so we can put it on the podcast with the best possible lighting and everything else? I mean, are we gonna try to stop the guy? I'm not gonna stop him.
No, I'm definitely not going to stop him. I'm watching it again, and I love how he's in the. It says health and wellness in the back, so he's getting some stuff. He gets back on his bike. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. This security guard is taking a Snapchat video. You can see him taking a Snapchat video.
I know.
This is your job.
But that's what I mean. Like, what are they gonna get, a license plate? Like, why is there's no way that, for one, there has to be more to the story, right? This guy did not just walk. This guy did not randomly pick this Walgreens and was like, you know what, I'm gonna take my. I'm gonna take my mountain bike and I'm gonna go grab. What the hell is that Walgreens you really want, anyways? Vitamin C? Like, what's he gonna do? Pile stock up on vitamin D and B12?
I mean, all the good stuff is behind the plastic covers anyway.
That's what I mean. Like, he didn't go in there and get a bunch of opiates. He went in there and got like Robitussin. I mean, and granted, I know you make meth off that, but what the hell?
he got breath mints, he got Claritin, he got some, maybe some Afrin or something, and he got probably some, maybe some gummy bears. I don't know.
Some gummy bears. Oh, that's right. They do have candy, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure nowadays they used to. They used to sell Pokemon cards there, man. And I heard that now you can't buy Pokemon cards or baseball cards anymore because people are beating the crap out of each other for them. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to make an investment.
I don't know. I feel like the security guard though, which is just hilarious to me, taking the video of the guy stealing anywhere between $500 worth of stuff going out is just Snapchatting and probably captioning it "grr money."
I still think it's funny you go back to the stealing anywhere between $500 worth of stuff. Walgreens doesn't have a dollar section. I mean, he probably stole and Walgreens overprices everything. Like a thing of ginger ale is like $12. So I mean, like, did he probably stole like 50 grand worth of stuff if they were to go off of like their price tags? He's gonna get hit with like the max felony. But my question is, all of those people, this is the world we live in today, man. All of those people taking videos, not one of them called the police.
No,
They
Or
were
they just
live
don't-
streaming it.
Have you ever seen Anchorman?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, so it's like when Ron Burgundy says to Baxter, "You ate a whole wheel of cheese." I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed.
You're right. I was just, dude. This guy had the balls to walk into a Walgreens. Or did not even walk. I'm sorry, ride into a Walgreens.
He wrote a Huffy in there.
Huffy. Huffy. Oh my God! All right, so we were.
It's not even a 12-speed. He's got a single speed Huffy to go get his ginger ale and his Claritin. Get the hell out of there.
That's Huffy, a single speed Huffy at that. But not one person, every single person that was on their phones was videotaping this guy stealing Claritin, Sudafed. Dude, he's gonna make some meth. That's what he's doing. That garbage bag, dude. He stole about $50,000 worth of stuff because Walgreens, raises the price on everything. But if you
At
think-
Walmart, at Walmart, it's about $20. That's why I shop there.
right, exactly. No, you're exactly
No,
right. But if
because
Oh, 100%. But if you go to if you think about what's really in that bag, there's probably like, I don't know, $200,000 street value that he's about to be cooking that in his trailer. I'm telling you, man, like he's gonna be making
that,
some good
I
stuff.
I couldn't tell the aisle though because it could be that, or maybe he's getting protein bars.
He wants to be able to fight the police next time he sees them. This is insane.
Cardio workout. You have a single speed bike getting a trash bag of 20 pounds going up and down the streets of San Francisco. I mean, talk about high intensity interval training.
What a stupid story. I think what gets me the most is not the fact. Again, it's not the fact that the guy went and did this. Because I mean, good for him. Whatever he wants to go steal. He said, "Broad daylight. I'm just gonna ride my." He had to have been on something. I don't know what it was, but he had to have been on something. But I don't even care the fact that he stole this stuff. I really don't. I care more about this is like as a society, we care more about Snapchatting that and live streaming that before going, yeah, maybe we should alert the proper authorities. Even the damn security guard was Snapchatting. What the hell?
No, it's all. There's somebody who tweeted the picture. It's the Reno 911 cops. And in little pink shorts. I forget his name. He's a hilarious actor. He's got a little bandana tied.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He says, "I was murdered," and says, "That's it, Walgreens executives."
You got to admit, dude, it's just, and this is what we deal with. These people vote. Like, I want you to think about that. We've given them the right to vote. These people have no idea. Like, they're literally just streaming it. I kind of wish I was on their live stream because there had to have been, maybe 7, 8, 9 people, actual customers in the store.
Oh,
Not
no, it's close to 10. There's 10 to 12 people on that in the wake of the thing.
in the wake, which is even funnier because if you think about it, the security guard, who God bless, and the guy wasn't a threat. He just moved. The security guard reached for the bag like he was trying
This
to.
is the nicest robbery I've ever seen in my
It
life.
was so polite. This is such a polite robbery. Excuse me.
Get this through.
Yeah.
Have
Excuse
you ever
me.
seen Practical Jokers?
Yes.
It's like Joe Gatto, like going through, like at the trash. Larry, Larry.
I just don't understand. It's like, excuse me, I have, $500,000 worth of stuff in this garbage bag. Let me politely move around. Like, he didn't fight. He didn't yell. He didn't scream. Dude, all he did was shop. Like, what you think about it? He just shopped without paying. Like, you can't even call that a robbery. A robbery is like everybody on the ground, or there's at least some type of, forcefulness. All this guy did was shop and not pay.
No, it's all. No, my favorite though is people who online freak about this either way, right? So, like, organized crime has to stop. I'm like,
Organized crime.
organized crime. This is a dude who rolled in a Huffy and just said, "I want to take a couple things and bring them home."
Huffy?
Let's just go and make it. That's not organized crime.
What the
That's,
hell?
I mean, that's just like it's like you come home with an alpaca. You didn't plan for it, but it happens.
Dude, organized crime. Do you ever? I don't care if you're in the mafia or not. If you support every Italian right now is going, what? Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Organized crime. The guy came in a freaking. The guy came in with a garbage bag, and like you just said, a Huffy, like he was about to do some tricks, walked in, took whatever he wanted, nobody did a damn thing about it. That's not organized crime. That's just literally the politest, and that was the luckiest thing that has ever happened to that guy. And I'm still curious if they ever caught him. Did they catch him? Do they know? Do we know if they got him?
There's no other reports other than Tony Hawk was reportedly seen yelling at him do a kickflip.
Tony Hawk. Bob Burnquist. We'll go with Bob Burnquist. Oh my God, that Dave Mira.
Sure.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So again, we have a society who would much rather live stream this. It's got to be society, because the only thing is, like, I hate to say this, but it'd be me.
It's an entertainment industry. Everybody's trying to get famous on Instagram so they can go sell this. This is just their ploy to become in the entertainment industry. It's not a society.
So somebody made a good point. Somebody said that they don't think it was Walgreens security. They think it was he said the badge was TSA. Which makes it even funnier, because if that's how the TSA is going to attack somebody, why the hell am I checking bags? This is ridiculous. Oh my God. On the corner of Happy and Stealing, for number 40, we have, for the 40th episode that we've done, we have literally the politest robbery in the history of the United States. Nobody got hurt, nobody got injured, and he's going back home and he's making a bunch of meth cakes.
Yep. Well, it's either that or I hope he gets some hamburger helper.
Do they sell that at Walgreens?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what he was doing. You know what happened? He finally got fed up with it. He got fed up that Walgreens was charging $554 for, some.
They're almost as bad as Target. Target is the only one worse.
Yeah, Target's pretty bad. Yep. Target's absolutely bad. Target. Yeah, they people started calling it Target, and then they thought they could start, blowing up and inflating their prices. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to move on from the Huffy robber. And
The Huffy robber? Dude, you got to tweet that out. You've named him the Huffy robber, and that needs to go viral. The Huffy robber on the corner of Happy and Stealing.
Grand Theft Huffy right here on Life in the Fast Lane Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself, Keith Migra. Well, we talk about the world's dumbest criminals, I guess. What else we got on the block for today?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think this is a fitting transition because this is going to lead into the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight coming up. And so the promo for this event, they just had a 5 minute for the heavyweight fight here. So they had a 5 minute stare down, which is pretty much what the people just had here in Walgreens. But these guys,
A 5 minute stare down?
yeah, they said they apparently I just saw a little clip on the break. They had a 5 minute stare down.
That's going to make the sport more exciting.
Okay, Keith, I don't know. I've been watching more and more fighting between
Sure.
boxing, fighting, UFC, whatever Jake and Logan Paul do, whatever that is. Over these last few years, honestly, ever since the McGregor fight, the McGregor Mayweather fight, I've been getting into the pay-per-view events. So
Really?
I've actually really gotten interested into fighting between MMA, UFC, boxing, and I'm still trying to learn more about it.
Sure.
So I know, you have coached downstairs at the studio there.
I didn't coach down there, but I used to box.
What's that?
I never coached down there, but I used to box.
No, I was saying coaches downstairs.
Oh, coaches down there. Yeah.
Yeah. So because there's a boxing studio in the same building we did our production out of. So
Hooligans boxing and MMA.
I was looking for the plug. I was teaming up there for you, but
That's
you got
right.
it.
I got it.
So you used to box.
Yeah.
So what is the point of the stare down?
Nothing. It's to basically you're just 9 times out of 10 it means absolutely nothing. And a 5 minute stare down, that's even pointless. Usually it's for a fight card, right? It's so they can get their pictures. It looks cool. They're gonna put it on the posters. It's gonna be awesome. Other than that, it means absolutely nothing. It does nothing. It happens right after the weigh in, and it makes no sense. I mean, for five
So-
grand, you're gonna stare down somebody for 30 seconds. Okay, I guess that's still kind of long, but 5 minutes, I'd have walked away. I'd have shut it off.
So I feel bad. I don't feel bad for him at all. But
No.
I do in the planning of Tyson Fury because Deontay Wilder's sitting there and they're standing there in the standoff, and he has beats on, so he's got music.
Oh, that's
Tyson
fine.
Fury's just sitting there with no music, just staring.
Which is in a sense kind of intimidating if you think about it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want.
no, I think it's boring after minute two. You're
It
like,
is.
I'm gonna keep doing this.
No, you're right. I would have walked away. Honestly, I wouldn't have given him the satisfaction of looking at me anymore.
Okay, that's a good question. When do you walk away?
Whenever you want. I mean, in all honesty, it's
Is it like a
you,
mutual thing where is it like your first kiss? Like there's the looking down at the lips and you look back up, or like that kind of thing. Is it like that, or is it like
in a sense, yeah. You're like,
Just-
all right, I'm just gonna break off. It's done.
so they break up and then they make out on the back? I'm just kidding.
They apologize, they hug, and then it's all for show.
Yes. Let me ask you this, because again, you know more about the fighting ring and everything. So a lot of these fights, I've noticed that obviously it's extremely intense. They're beating
Sure.
the crap out of each other for their job. That's their job. But I've noticed there's a few that seem to be actually pissed off and mad at each other.
Oh yeah,
But a large amount of it, they seem to actually really have fun and respect the other person.
because
How does that balance? I don't get it.
Because honestly, that's how it used to be, and that's how the sport honestly still kind of is.
Okay.
Listen, these guys train. Like when I trained. You know what I mean? 16-hour days. You train, you lift. You don't do anything but focus on boxing. You have to watch how you eat, and the other person's doing the same thing. You know what I mean? And plus, then you got to study tape. Then you got to sit back and you got to watch their moves. You got to know, okay, he's gonna hit you with a combo, so if you fight southpaw, you're gonna have to switch it up. If you can't switch it up, then you're gonna be screwed. You know what I mean? So you're watching it. These people, like especially the boxers, I didn't get into MMA. I love MMA. I watch MMA. But when you're talking about like boxing and fighting, you have to have some. Listen, that guy got to the ring the same way you did. You know what I mean? By training hard, and you have no idea, honestly, if he's gonna whoop your ass. You have no
Right.
idea if he's gonna bloody your face. If he's gonna listen, just like Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, and that there's some kind of they're usually, and honestly, usually this is true. There is some form of mutual respect between the two fighters. Now, there can be a lot of problems before it, But usually after the fight, win or lose, doesn't matter. There's some kind of mutual respect because if you beat that guy up, then all the crap talking you were doing made sense. But if he kicks your ass and all the crap talking you were doing, I mean, you got to respect the guy. He just, he single handedly put your foot in your mouth, and it's like if you can focus on that and understand that it is in a sense. I don't want to say a gentleman's sport because it's not, but it
No.
is. But there needs to
Well, it's
be
a
mutual
craft.
respect.
It's a craft.
It's a craft, right? It's the same thing with baseball and even racing. You know that these people got here not because they got lucky. They got there because they trained hard. They, especially for driving, especially after I know what goes into it now. They got there. Baseball's the same way. You got called up the same way everybody else did. You got called up not because you were lucky, but because you were good. There is definitely a sense of mutual respect that I think is more so in the fighting, the full combat sports than there is anything else. Because I mean, dude, you're there to break that guy's face. Your whole mission is to knock somebody unconscious. It's Roman Coliseum crap. You know what I mean? Like we are obsessed with violence, and we know that.
It's weird to me because I don't know exactly if this is true, or maybe just because I'm more into it now. But to me, it seems like fighting, and maybe just because of social media that hypes it up more, but it seems like to me, you hear more about big ticket event fights now than you have in any time that I can remember.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is that true? Because I just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even when Pacquiao fought Mayweather for the first time, you knew, like, it blew up. Like, I mean, social media, because you were, right, yeah, well, yeah, because you were able to pick a side at that point. You know what I mean? You were, and social media has only been good for fighters. It's only been good for fighting promotions. It's
Right.
only been good for the UFC, and it's only been good for the WBC. You know what I mean? Like, it's been good for these type of organizations because Facebook is free. You make one post saying Mayweather's going to fight somebody, it's over. You make one post saying McGregor, Connor's coming right out. He's coming out of retirement. He's going to fight whoever, whatever is trying to. All Dana has to do is make one post, and it catches fire. And I mean, think about that. All of that, it goes viral. And he didn't pay a dime for it.
Right. Well, it's interesting to me because so let's go back into a different sport, right? So last year, Juju Smith-Schuster does the stupid tweet about the Browns is the Browns thing, right?
Right.
So all week, of course, it's already Browns talk nonstop because they're going to playoffs.
Right.
So he does that, and then it turns into the rivalry was there, but it kicked up another notch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it did.
So, but what's interesting to me is I want to know, in your opinion, and you may not know because you're not in the UFC or anything like that, but
Sure.
you know people who have been training and stuff. We probably should have asked when we had the MMA guy in here what he thought about this, or at some point we'll ask somebody. But
Right.
my question is, so in other sports, now in football, that's a true rivalry. They didn't like each other, but in racing, there's been instances of okay, we need a bad guy.
Sure.
We need a good guy. And so, like Dale Sr., Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, and Jeff Gordon had the mutual understanding that they actually liked each other, but they knew their fan bases hated each other.
Yeah.
So they played off of that.
Well, sure.
So I wonder how much in UFC and MMA and boxing, all that stuff, how much do they really not like each other? And how much do they say, okay, you're going to put a mean post here. I'm going to go, try to come back to you and do this because so the Pauls, for example,
Right.
everybody hates the Pauls,
Yes.
but my God, are they the best promoters of anybody else?
Oh, sure. Sure. They're masters at their craft.
People, but they are the best promoters,
Right.
self-promoters.
Yeah, 100%. They're masters at the craft. And promotion is a craft too. But you got to remember, I would think that probably 80% of the actual like problems between fighters, if there is a problem between this fighter and that fighter, is probably real. Because I mean, you got to remember, they're pissed off, they're angry constantly, they're working out. I mean, that messes with your mind, dropping weight. But you're right. I think a good chunk of it, there probably is some push from Dana, if it's UFC, or push from the WBC to say, hey, say this, especially if it's coming from Mayweather's camp. That dude just pisses people off because he's an idiot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's a very uneducated human being, but he's super smart when it comes into the ring. And so he
Sure.
doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the smarts to be able to go, all right, I'm going to do this intelligently. He just says I'm going to beat you up, and the other people are like, hey, go read, like 50 Cent when 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather got into that argument. All it did was up Floyd's, promotion. When 50 Cent said he'd give him $100,000 if he could read 5 pages on a Cat in the Hat. That stuff is funny, but guess what? It got Floyd Mayweather to his next fight. It got him promoting, and so you want problems. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're right. Everybody wants a villain. Nobody wants to see two good guys fight. They want to see a good guy and a bad guy fight. Pacquiao versus Mayweather. That was good. Even though Pacquiao wasn't even fighting for America, he was fighting for I don't remember where the hell he's from. I can't remember. Offhand, I can't remember where he is. The Philippines,
Yes.
and he's a governor over there. And like every time oh yeah, dude, he's huge over there, and he gives money, like he gives half of his purse to the government, and like I'm pretty sure Pacquiao is literally single-handedly funding their government. I'm not completely 100% sure, but he gives a lot of money to him.
Right.
But if you
Right.
look like who wants to see like two good guys go at it? Because then you're like, oh man, I like both of them. You got to have a bad guy. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor made literally a living and a promotion being the bad guy. And then it sucks when he retires because he's like, man, I want that bad guy back. I want him to start screaming and being
He'd be
dumb
nice
and
bad-
stupid. Yeah,
Yeah.
you want him back. It's crazy to think, but no, I think a lot of these people are probably do have problems with each other. I mean, think about it. Listen, I mean, we're friends, but if I went, if I said, hey, there's a promotional fight coming up, and I said, hey, me and you are going to fight for it, you're a piece of garbage, I'm going to beat your ass. I have a feeling you'd want to respond like, you're not going to beat me up. I'm going to beat you up. I have a wingspan of this. I have a wingspan of this. I've trained here. I've trained there. Then we're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know what I mean?
For sure. No, 100%. Well, and it's back to the bad guy thing, right? So you look at the bad guys in any sport, and they're the ones that sell most amount of t-shirts. They sell the tickets.
Absolutely.
The vanilla guys, you don't hear about them.
No, and you won't either. The people like listen, especially if you go into UFC. UFC is more action packed, obviously, than boxing, right? But boxing is more of a craft and a skill. You're trying to score points. That's why Mayweather is the best at what he does. I would say Mayweather is probably the best. But people are gonna hate
It's
me
so
for this.
impressive. All the fights I've watched him with, like, so in racing, in old school racing, you would have tires that would wear out very, very fast.
Right.
So this actually kind of correlates to Mayweather here. So you would have tires that were very soft. What soft tires mean is that you can go a shot out of cannon and go lap everybody. You can do whatever you want. But if you had to stay in that set of tires for a long time, say at an abrasive racetrack where tires went away quickly,
Right.
the guy who saved his stuff until the end, he'd go beat the guy that shot out of the gate. And to me,
I know,
watching
so-
Floyd
yeah.
Mayweather, the few fights that I have,
Yep.
he's the guy who goes, I'm gonna sit back and chill, just put my arms up, dance a little bit, just do this, and then at the end, I'm gonna come at you. And I
Sure.
really respect that because it's biding your time, it's planning, it's strategizing, it's knowing percentages, it's knowing how you're gonna hit the guy, it's
Right.
knowing everything. You know their move before they even know their own move. And
100%.
so I think it's
100%.
fun watching him because it's one of the few. Again, I'm new to the sport of all fighting, right? So it's interesting for me to watch somebody like that because you can tell he's thinking and planning while he's acting.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely is, and that's what makes him so dangerous. That's what makes him so good, and that's what makes him undefeated. You know what I mean? He has the ability to put you back in the corner, tire you out. He'll hit body shots. He knows how to point. That's the thing. And in boxing, you care about points. Especially if you're going to go the distance. And a lot of his fights go the distance because he's going to outpoint you. It's a science to him, and that's fine. He is, but like I said before, I hate LeBron James. I despise him. I despise him. But you cannot take away the fact that he is the best basketball player to step on the court right now. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. I don't like Floyd Mayweather. I think he's a pompous jackass, and I think everything about him is what's wrong with human interaction. But you can't take away the fact that when you step in the ring, it doesn't matter because he's not talking. He's doing his job. He's doing what he trained for, and he does it super, super well. So when you look at Floyd Mayweather and you're like, man, he's an idiot, he's this, he's that, that may be true, but inside that ring, he is a scientist, and he is the best there is. I mean,
You
honestly.
know, it's interesting though because I almost think you have to draw back the curtains in another world though of what what signifies somebody is smart, right? So
Right.
that's that because that is one thing. So there's so in a society, we talked about this in Walgreens, right? What society? So what means you're smart? Can you read a menu? Well, I mean, maybe you're smart, maybe you're not, but can you okay, so is that person smart? I don't think you can say that because you can read something or not. So I don't think it goes off of that. If you look
No.
at your life, right? So is success measured off of good decisions and planning? Yes. So
Yeah.
does that make you smart? I think so.
Sure.
So if you look at that and preparation, performance, doing all those things, I would say Floyd Mayweather is one of the smartest people on the planet right now. I mean, does he blow his money stupidly? Sure,
Oh yeah.
but it's a smart in a different form because you have to define what is smart. Smart, there's book smart, there's street smart, but then there's also a smart
I don't.
of success. There's a smartness of perfection.
Yeah.
There's so many areas of what is smart. I never liked that. So I'm just going to go off on a tangent here for a second.
No, it's fine.
So I always found it strange to me when I went to college, and I, I was in school for 2.5 years. I was a really good high school student. Now, I think it is awesome if you go get a college degree. I don't have a college degree. Okay,
Sure.
put that out there right away. I do not have a degree. I dropped out 2 years in. Now, what I did do is I went into racing. Now, I took a shot at it, but when I had my brain tumor and I was out for a few months, people said, are you going to go back to college? And my answer was no. And the reason I was not going back to college was because my life experience at that point had superseded what I could learn in college to go get me where I needed to be.
Sure.
However, if you look at engineering and doctors and things like where you need college to be in them, or it's every job has a specialized thing that you need college requirements to get in. I'm not saying
Right.
anything bad about that because again,
No.
you guys did it. I didn't do it. But I think that categorizing somebody as smart or not based on a societal construct of what is right and what's not, I don't think it works because if you look at BJ and myself, neither one of us finished college and we got a NASCAR team.
Right.
Look at Floyd Mayweather saying he can't read. I'd like to be worth how much he is and how good of an athlete he is and how popular he is. So I think it's an interesting thing of what is smart
see
and what
that.
is successful and how do you get there. It's an interesting. I don't know.
I
it's an
don't.
interesting-
I mean, it's personally, I don't measure smarts on book streets or book smarts or street smarts or anything like that. I base it on common sense.
Yeah.
Do you have common sense? I don't care I don't care if you have a college degree or not. In fact, I'm the opposite. I think we need to get more people into trade schools than we do into college, but that's just me. That's just
Sure.
my personal opinion. I think trade schools need to be made, but I base it on do you have common sense? Can you figure out to treat people like a human? Can you figure out that maybe you shouldn't be pissy or maybe you shouldn't be a dick or maybe whatever? Use common sense when you approach situations. Are you super slow all the time? Do you have no motivation to do anything? Are you moping around all the time? That's if you're smart enough to get your mind right. And by mind right, I mean, where's the urgency? Where's the self motivation, right? Because everybody wants to better themselves. Everybody wants to. Doesn't matter who you are, unless you're literally out there trying to self implode. Everybody wants to better themselves. So I judge intelligence on how do you act? Where's the common sense at? Like, do I think I'm the smartest human being in the world? Absolutely, I do. But that's because I think everybody else is stupid. Just kidding. No, I think I think a lot of people lack common sense. And I don't care if you have a college degree. I don't care if you have a high school diploma. I don't care about any of that. Do you treat people like humans? Can you figure out basic common stuff? And can you take responsibility when responsibility needs to be taken? That makes you an intelligent human being in my book.
Okay. So Floyd Mayweather, everything you just said, what's the verdict?
I think he's an idiot. I don't think he has common sense. I think he spends until he's broke. I think he's never taken responsibility for any of his actions, including the way he spends when he's broke. And I think he treats people like absolute garbage. You can see how he treats his fans on the streets. It's horrible. It's horrible. But now on the other side of that though, he does have smarts. I think he's an idiot. That means dumb on purpose. Right? I think you're an idiot. You're ignorant. You're dumb on purpose, willingly dumb. He is very intelligent because he can continue to market himself no matter what. And he did have enough common sense to put people in place around him that can make decisions that he doesn't know how to make. So, like, if it does have to do with his money, he has at least now put people that are over here, that can look at him and go, hey, man, that's a stupid idea. Whether he takes that advice is, I don't know. I'm not there. But he does have people around him that have given him the ability to make that decision for him, and then and then them talk intelligently about it. You know what I mean?
You know, I actually would like to do. We should do a podcast with our friend Peyton Hillis, who played for the Browns.
Yeah.
I would actually like to have a show talking about finance and agents and things like that in different sports. I think that'd be a really cool show because obviously he was drafted up, and you come from Arkansas, not coming from much, to being on the Madden cover all of a sudden.
And now on the Madden cover again.
Yeah.
Did you see that commercial?
I did, yes.
Yeah, dude, I loved it. I called him immediately. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. So you go from that to that, and then you go to, okay, you're hurt and you're out. But then, like, for myself, you come in and you're doing stuff in racing, then your career ends. So I think it would be a cool conversation to have, like, okay, well, I know I was guided this way and this way and this way when I was in racing.
Yep.
I know Peyton probably said, hey, you should invest in this company. You shouldn't do this. You look at Shaq.
Oh, yeah.
Shaq has more money now than he ever did on the court because of how many food franchises he has and how many endorsements he has.
And here's you want to know the difference between all of that though, and this is why you're going to be put in that same category, and so will I. But we don't think we know everything, right? We do exactly what I just said. We set people up that know more than we do on certain subjects, and then we listen to them. That's what, and that's what Hillis does. That's what you do. That's what I do. That's how you continue your career no matter what. So you're absolutely right. You're going to be placed in that category not long, just because of how you, as a business person, react to different situations. And you know that, I think I've said this before. We were going to do, we talked to one of your buddies, right? And you're like, hey, man, you got a couple minutes. I want to, I just want you to talk to them. And you're like, is that okay? Absolutely, because I was going to learn something from them. Yeah. You know what I mean? God gave you, literally one mouth and two ears for a reason. You listen more than you talk. So when we were talking with him, we were able to get a very clear idea now of what direction we were supposed to be heading in, or what we want to do, how we want to head in it. And those people, because of their experience, are putting us in the next, because they were willing to share that as well, are putting us on some next level stuff right now because of the events that have taken place and whatever. And you're doing that too. Peyton did it. Shaq does it. I mean, you're right. Shaq does it all the time. He has, and I hate using this word, but I'm going to, czars that teach him and show him and tell him what to do. But if you're going to put people in place like that, then you have to learn to listen to them. You know what I mean? You obviously put them in that position for a reason. You trust them, right? Well, if you trust them, then you have to make sure that you're listening to the advice they're giving you.
Right. Yep. No, 100%. No, I think that'd be a cool show to do. But I do want to cut to one last break. When we come back, there's been a bunch of Nintendo stuff going on. I don't know exactly what everything is, but some things I've been reading look pretty cool on it. Keith, you're going to fill me in on some of it. So cool. We're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. And we'll continue the conversation.
All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself, Keith Migra. Hey guys, before we jump into the next topic, let's make sure you follow Matt Tift on Twitter. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to all of our podcasts, which you can hear on iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere podcasts are heard. Subscribe. If you're feeling generous, go to our Teespring. Check us out there.
That is right. All right, last topic of today is something I don't know that much about, so I'm going to need your help on this. So,
Sure.
a lot of people talking about E3 2021. It's the final day of the expo that features the Nintendo E3 showcase. That was kicked off on June 12th, and is delayed a year because of COVID. But so it's one of the last big events of the E3 2021, focusing on the Switch games. But a big one that you and I were talking about, because I was curious, was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel has a 2022 release date. You had some kind of mixed thoughts about that one.
I mean, so I like Zelda. Don't get me wrong. My sons really like Zelda. Both Aiden and Jacob love Zelda. I mean, absolutely 100% love it. The problem is that they're just making. I mean, why not make a new one? I mean, so it was, for one, it's an open world game. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's an open.
No, I do, yeah.
So it's an open world game, which is really cool.
I know Zelda.
Okay, so when you play, I mean, it's great. The graphics are fantastic. The storyline is great. Do we really need a sequel for it? I mean, do I really want a sequel for that? I don't know. I just wasn't. I'm not sold on it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things I saw in there was Super Mario Party is coming back, and they have like 100 games within there. And I guess they came back out again. I'm kind of new to the Nintendo world. I was never big into it, but
Sure.
Other than playing the N64. So I heard they came out with it in 2018, but they said like all the games were kind of stale. Like it was just kind of eh.
They were
with it.
iffy.
So why do it again if it's gonna be the same games, or is it further in depth? Like what's the deal?
I don't know, because I mean, honestly, Nintendo's running on borrowed time anyways. They when you had the Wii, right?
Mhm.
The Wii U was a horrible system. I don't really think anybody disagrees with that. It wasn't a good system. The first Wii was fun because it was new. You know what I mean? You had new technology. It brought them back. And then with the Wii U, they just, huh?
Wii Sports was cool.
Wii Sports was absolutely fun, especially when I mean, that was a game you could play with your whole family and not have to worry about it. You were up and moving. It was a great idea. They were trying to get people fit, and they still are with what's going on. But if you look at if you look at the Switch, Nintendo's after the Nintendo 64 and after the Wii, actually the GameCube was a really really good system too. But after the Nintendo Wii, they started getting into crap, and then they started focusing on handhelds, the 2DS, the 3DS, Game Boys. They realized that they needed to put their handheld and their console together, and that's how they got the Switch. And ever since then, it kept Nintendo in the console wars. You know what I mean? It kept them in the race to get consumers to buy, and they started marketing the games a little bit more adultish to compete with PlayStation and Xbox. So I mean, I don't know if Nintendo is just lacking originality. They don't have writers. They're not picking up original games. I don't know what their problem is, but you have the big three, right? You've got Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. That's Nintendo's staple. Always has been Nintendo's staple. So why not continue those adventures? And they are doing it with Pokemon. I mean, they're making a brand new Pokemon open world game, which looks awesome. They've done it with Mario. Why are they treating Zelda like the redheaded stepkid? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. It's weird to me because obviously we know all the stuff from Pokemon and Mario, and everybody knows all that stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
But what's weird to me is when you look at Nintendo in general, right?
All
So innovation of video games, of electronics, everything comes from Japan and China and that
Oh
part of the
yeah.
world. So
100%.
it's weird to me that developers for this entire company, that they couldn't come out with something that becomes the new Pokemon, that becomes the new next thing. Because I feel like that's where Wii Sports and stuff was like, oh, this is really cool. It became the big new thing. It's kind of like,
Well, they kind of
it's kind
expand
of like
on it.
they're stuck in, like you said, they're stuck in, they're not being innovative, and they're not having new
Right.
writers. But you also, it's almost like you need to, the graphics of Nintendo are always the same thing. They've been the same thing since the 2000s, right? It's always the same looking thing. It just develops with time to get better.
Sure.
It's the same world. It's always the same world that Nintendo's in. It's a Nintendo world.
Right.
I feel like there should be something they do different that's so jaw dropping, like the full immersion, like Oculus stuff, all that never really took off. I feel like they should be putting their eggs into that basket and like really developing it with
And try and
some,
yeah,
whether it's with Epic Games or somebody like that, they create something so impressive for that system. But to me, it's like I'm gonna buy an Xbox or a PlayStation. Like I'm not even like the Switch and stuff is cool for games and it's great for parties and like having friends over and
sure.
stuff like that. It's very good for that. But to stand on its own, if it's just a 1 to 2 player thing, in my opinion, kind of sucks.
No, I'm with you on that one, and I think that's what Nintendo has to get back to doing, right? Like I'm a big Switch fan. I love the Switch because I can take it
Yeah.
with me and
No, it's
still have
great.
the
Yeah.
console. You know what I mean? Like you still have that console capability with it. I use it for Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie, I play Pokemon. I love Pokemon. Play Zelda, love Zelda. Play Mario, love Mario. But the problem is, you're right. They're lacking that one thing. Why can't they put like okay? So for instance, PlayStation has they have staples, right? Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted. They have games, and of course that's three. But there's more than Twisted Metal. You know what I mean? There's more than three staples that PlayStation has. God of War. You know what I mean? Like those are all big games. And then you turn around and Xbox does the same thing, right? Xbox, Gears of War, Unreal Tournament. They have all these good games, but Nintendo still it's like they're stuck in the Ocarina of Time. They're stuck. They
Yeah.
don't move. They want to try to improve. They want to try to take the wheel and make it more round. You can't.
Yeah.
It's a wheel. It's there. So
Right.
move on. Make something better. Obviously, don't neglect those games because of course they're your staple. But then why not make something different? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, totally agree. Well, we are out of time. However, going on this conversation, remember, you guys, if you retweet this show with the hashtag Nintendo giveaway and do the and tagging at LITFL show, you still do have the chance for the summer giveaway of a Nintendo Switch. So, with all this going on, it's still a very cool system. So, we're still giving one away at the end of the summer. And then also remember to follow at Keith Miger1 at Matt_Tift. We'll be back here on Thursday. And in the meantime, everybody, go grab a Huffy, go grab a plastic bag, and go to town.